What's going on, guys? Here we are back at the range today with something exciting. If you're into comped carry guns, here we go. The new Springfield Hellcat Pro compensated. All right, so here we are. Springfield has upped the game, and I think for the better, because let's quickly talk about the #1 competitor to the Hellcat Pro. That's going to be the 365 line, just in general. More so the Macro and the XL. But as crazy popular as the SIG Macro has been, comp version and non-comp version, the comp version being the first one they released, it seemed like that is just where the industry was going to start and go with the popularity of comped carry guns. You know, aftermarket, custom stuff that you've seen a lot of people get done. So SIG was like that first company. I know there's the Glock. Well, we're not going to talk about the Glock that did like the C's and all that crap, but I'm talking like a chunk port in the front of the barrel. To my knowledge, SIG was the only one to do that from the factory on a mass-produced gun. So now, fast forward a couple years later, here we are, the Hellcat Pro. To try to keep up with that, they released from the factory a comped gun. Now, why this is better, if you know anything about the SIG XMacro, the barrel itself is not ported. They used a 3-inch barrel off the 365 and 365X gun and just used the 365XL slide and ported the slide, so you got a little bit of compensation there even though the barrel was behind the port. This is not that. The barrel is actually ported along with the slide. In my mind, that's what the SIG Macro should have been the whole time. They missed the boat there, and I'm not sure why that happened, but here we are, Springfield picking up the slack and saying, look, hold my beer, we're going to get this thing done, and they've actually went and ported the barrel and the slide. So this is now, in my mind, if you're into that compensated carry gun, or even just that's a range toy, you want that little bit of that compensation that'll help you keep you on target for follow-up shots, this is the one. Now, I have not shot this gun yet. First shots here at the range. This thing was just released, so let's take some shots, see how it does, and we'll do a little comparing as well. All right, here we are, first shots with the Hellcat Pro Comp. 15 rounds, see what happens. It felt like it was doing something. It felt flatter than a standard pistol. All right, this time I'm going to run it back to back. This was my daily carry for the longest time, an XMacro with an Icarus grip on it, so a little bit of an unfair advantage because it's got that weight there. But I'm going to quick run it back to back against the Hellcat Pro Comp, see what happens. This one has a 17-round magazine in, so it's a little extended there, and this has their 17-round in, but with the flared on the Icarus. It's probably about the same overall height, but let's see how it works straight away, back to back. Let's do it. It's close. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's close. One thing I have always not liked about the Hellcat was the grip on these, the original Hellcats. Too small, too blocky. It didn't feel comfortable in my hand when I shot it. I didn't like it. I preferred the SIG XL and that family of guns grips better. Pro, however, I do like the longer grip of the Pro. It does feel better in my hand for some reason, even though it's still the same grip profile as being that like blocky kind of feel about it. Shooting it doesn't bother me for whatever reason in the long extended grip of the Pro. But talking back to back with the Pro Comp, which I think is a 3.7 barrel, and then the SIG with the 3.1 barrel with only the compensated slide, I'm going to be honest with you guys. It feels like the Hellcat Pro edges it out. I mean, that's to be expected. Yeah, the barrel is actually comped. It felt like, even though this is heavier, has the aluminum frame to help with that recoil, and this being polymer, it was similar, but I still feel like, my honest opinion, I still feel like this had it just by a little bit, like it did a little bit better. So let's try it again and feel it out. It's close. It's close. Didn't get a lock open on the last round on that. This is a brand new gun though. Probably does need a little break-in period. Not holding that against it. But man, just a quick back-to-back. I probably should have changed out the grips on the macro to go with the whole polymer feel and really compare it one-to-one. Because with that aluminum grip, it makes the gun heavier. It shoots flatter. It shoots nicer with that aluminum grip on. Now, I almost would say, and I'll have to watch the tape back, but just hearing it, as far as the loudness, people say the comped pistols are louder. It's being a true comp versus not really a true compensated gun. This one does sound, I would say, like a little more snappy. It has a little more snap to it, if that makes sense. A little bit more of a crack. And I'm going to do two hands and do like a bang, 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 and see if you can hear the difference on tape. Audio is a little hard that way, or just kind of give you my impressions. Let's run that, see what happens. Just like that, they sounded pretty similar. I mean, it didn't sound just from there that this was really any louder than this one. And left hand versus right hand, this time over here felt a little more snappy as far as recoil goes, but again, it's my left hand. This one didn't feel as snappy, one-handed. Take with that a grain of salt. This feels like it's shooting a little flatter than the macro. I think they hit a home run with this. I think this is going to be very popular with folks who already love the Hellcat and own a Hellcat, and maybe who've done already something like this to their Hellcat in the aftermarket. I think this was a no-brainer as far as Springfield taking it to that next step. And I'm sure other companies will follow suit with this now. I'm sure there's going to be a SIG macro true comp or whatever the hell they're going to call it, because they have a million different versions of every gun. But I think this was a perfect addition to Springfield's lineup. Having the Hellcat, Hellcat Pro, and now the Hellcat Comp, Pro Comp. So unless there's another model I'm missing, I mean, to me, that's pretty solid. A micro, sort of like a micro mid-size in the Pro, and then the Pro Comp. So it's a solid lineup for sure. All right, guys, that's really it. It's the Hellcat Pro Comp. It's the Hellcat you come to know and love. 17-round magazine in the box, and the flush-fitting 15-round magazine in the box. So you have your options, buy extra magazines, whatever you want to do. Comes optics ready, just like the other ones do. And now it has the cool little comp. I carry the SIG macro. I carry the macro. I carry that gun. It could be another one that goes in the rotation. I've shot it well here today on and off camera. It shoots nice and flat. It feels good. There's really nothing wrong with the Hellcat line. It just wasn't my bag for a while. I was a SIG guy as far as the carry guns went. But it's a nice little package, guys. I mean, for not spending an arm and a leg on comp work and re-cerakoting and all that stuff, you know, you're spending hundreds of dollars more. You know, this is coming from the factory, and you're saving money doing it that way. So it really is a cool little package. So guys, don't forget Steve MP5 on the Instagrams, and I'll see you next time.